Definitely, yeah. Just Sandy, Pigsy. I didn't really want them to sort of go overboard on prosthetics. I didn't want it to look like a sort of Jim Henson Presents monkey. I wanted them to sort of, for it to be quite subtle.
Pixie is there.
Pigsy is a bit of a Lothario who loves to eat and is, you know, loves the ladies. And Sandy's a bit like a sort of a moody goth. There's Sandy.
Oh, that's Sandy, yes.
The moody river demon. And he's great because he doesn't do anything and hardly says anything. He just joins he joins them on their quest, and he's just a bit moody all the time.
Astonishingly, Jamie has created 65 different characters, each with their own unique identity.
These are fish girls. They're there on set for probably 5 seconds. They come through on wires and do a little swim. And there's a panda, a guy in a panda suit.
Great face.
The prawn soldier.
The prawn soldier, yes, yes.
Shark soldier, turtle guard, and a little shrimp girl. Sexy little shrimp girls.
Yeah.
This is the spider woman. Now, originally when...
Bit of S&M there.
Yeah.
There,
well, originally Shazang said they're very sexy. They're like sirens or prostitutes. So I drew this picture and he said, they're not that sexy. And this is the Dragon King.
Oh, I like the Dragon King.
But Damon's written a fantastic bit of music for him, which has got this really strange sort of plodding sound through it. So we gave him these 2 sticks, and he sort of bob, 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 and he sort of plods on the stage.
So Jamie's letting his imagination run riot. But what about Damon? How has he begun to tackle composing the opera?
I was driven out to meet an eminent Chinese composer whose name I unfortunately have forgotten. And I was kind of giving him, I'd had all this stuff written about the Kung and the 12 celestial tones and just all this kind of theoretical stuff which I kind of gleaned from the internet and books. And he just sort of laughed at me really and said, there aren't any rules really, you know.
Okay, so no rules. So how did you begin then?
I didn't know really what I was looking for because if you try and write in using kind of the Western perception of Chinese scales, it all ends up like this very quickly. I mean, it's just... Oh, it doesn't have that on it though. No, it doesn't have that either. Oops. Do you know what I mean? Immediately, it's chopsticks, isn't it? You know, so I had to kind of sort of get over that prejudice I had.
Once he had got over that, Damon immersed himself in the sound of China. All the music in the opera will be played live, but to begin with, Damon sampled all the Chinese instruments he could get his hands on and put every note of them onto his keyboards. It was only then that he began to compose, using Eastern and Western instruments together.
I got them all to record in this studio, every single note, but their particular instruments can play, and then every sort of nuance of that note. So, for example, on a peeper, you have the ding, and then you have a drrrr. So I got them to go. So it took quite a while to play every single note. So every little semitone, drrrr, drrrr, drrrr. And so I went around all the instruments doing that, and
so you understood what every instrument was capable
of, yeah, and then. So there's that lovely sort of tension that the peeper creates, you know, when it's just solo and it's playing like that.
Back at Jamie's, it hasn't just been about the characters and the costumes. He's also got an extremely complex set to design. Another thing he's never done in his life.
Just talking about China then, that experience of visiting it, what were the things that triggered you to think, yes, I can do this, we can do this?
We climbed a place called Monkey Mountain, which was, it was so high that by the time we reached the top, on the top there's a huge gold Buddha. By the time we reached the top, we were above the clouds. So it was, and you know, you couldn't light our cigarettes and stuff because the air was so thin. It was very strange. That was very inspiring. So this is the biggest set piece for the last scene, this Buddha mountain. But then Zhejiang decided that he wanted the Buddha to be blue. Because we saw a lot of different Buddhas and different temples, and our favourite one was this. We saw one that was just painted bright blue with orange hair, and that sort of stuck in our minds. So, and then the Buddha's disciples, these characters you meet at the end, they've all got blue faces, because the more enlightened you become, this is Zhejiang's idea, the bluer you are.
I like. Tell me about this transition.
These
here.
are these are rocks. So because most of the journey is outside, so there's scenery with every set piece has rocks in it, and there's 9 of these rocks that I've designed. They're all at the end. They all turn round to and join it and become part of the Buddha mountain, which is this one.
Yeah.
They all slot into place.
And they're all faces. There they all are.
Yeah. So on the back side, it's a rock.
Yeah.
Then it flips around to become a face. And it's this idea that Buddha's always present. On Monkey's Travels, Buddha's always there. Buddha is everything.
Damon's had a few mountains of his own to climb. Although he isn't writing the lyrics, Damon has been writing the vocal melodies for the opera, and he decided it has to be in Mandarin.
Was that an easy decision, was it? It had to be Mandarin, really.
I kind of like it being in Mandarin. I like not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Mandarin is very much characters. You know, and I wrote a lot of it by, I mean, literally just sort of going, just hearing the sort of the language, and you know, it seems to have worked. For example, Pigsy is how do you make a sort of a singer sound like a pig and still musical? So I don't know if it's here. I've got a voice change. Is it here now?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Oh. Yeah, so I just got this. Double day, double say. La da, double day, yeah, so I just wrote this aria for the pig, and just played around with that, and it worked really well. We can play the original demo of that if you want, but this one is me pretending to be, well, not pretending, just writing that and imagining what it could possibly sound like.
Is that what you did with all the vocals? You tried to do them yourself?
Yeah, well, I had to. What else?
I can see it, Pigsy.
He's a very flawed character, you know. He was a great general in heaven, but his, you know, too much drink, too many women, and he was banished and became a pig on earth. You know, and he's trying to explain to everyone, you know, he's not a bad person. He's just can't help himself, you know.
Is this really you?
Of course.